Hey guys, Adam here. Okay, so last week I said that Expendables 3 was going to be my last video. But I thought I'd go ahead and do one more video, because I need something to do to keep my mind off the packing. I am almost done, and I leave Friday. So this isn't a Sin City rewind. It's not. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to do Sin City 2 for right now. But this is definitely related to Sin City. Because I need to go ahead and get this off my fucking chest here. Because I don't normally bitch about other people unless it's Michael Bay. And only when it involves a movie. But I have got to get this fucking thing off my chest right now. Really, what I'm about to say hasn't already been said before, or it's not like what I'm saying hasn't already been said before. It's already been said by plenty of other people. But I want to go ahead and put my 2 cents in. Frank Miller is a fucking idiot. There. Frank Miller is a goddamn fucking idiot. He is. Oh my god. Just so you know, I am a fan of Miller's early work, especially his Batman stories. When they were good, basically. And like everyone knows, Dark Knight Returns. It's a very influential comic. It's one of the, if not the best story of Batman ever. Of course, you also got Batman Year One. You got his Daredevil run. You got his Wolverine run. Recently, however, that's all changed when he started going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, he's very much shown that he is ignorant, he is racist, he is misogynistic beyond belief. I mean, my God, he is more misogynistic. Well, I want to say I'm misogynistic, but I have like thoughts of how I portray women in movies, but when it comes to but I don't do it the way he does. I at least make my female characters fucking characters. Okay? He doesn't. Not to mention, he just got really shitty at writing recently. All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder, is a prime fucking example of that. And I'm sad to say that I own the first issue. I am ashamed to admit that. And I bought it because out of curiosity, because I was told how fucking bad this comic was. Like that, I mean, everyone said, "Oh God, this comic is horrible. This comic is just shit." I'm like, I've got to read it, because I'm just thinking there is no way Frank fucking Miller could write a bad comic or even write a bad story. First issue, I'm going, this is fucking shit. And now, to promote Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, Frank Miller did an interview with Playboy, and I got it right here, and I'm gonna quote it. And I got it. The article was posted on comicbookmovie.com. I do highly recommend going on that site. Lots of good articles on there. So yeah, I would recommend comicbookmovie.com. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it off with the headline, with the first paragraph here. Or well, no, I'm not going to. Well, first off, everyone knows about Frank Miller's career in films just as much as comics. He wrote the script. He wrote the draft for RoboCop 2, which didn't get made. He also, and of course, he also directed The Spirit, which, sadly enough, is a guilty pleasure of mine, mostly because of Samuel L. Jackson. I'll get into that later. Alright, so this is what Playboy said. There's a consensus that Daredevil and Elektra, 2 movies adapted from comics you wrote, were lousy. Do you agree with that opinion? Miller said, when people come out with movies about characters I've worked on, I always hate them. I have my own ideas about what the characters are like. I mean, I can't watch a Batman movie. I've seen pieces of them, but I generally think, no, that's not him. And I walk out of the theater before it's over. Alright, before I continue on the rest of that article, I'm going to say, fuck you! Fuck you, Miller! Alright. I'll agree, Daredevil's a lousy movie. Elektra is a shitty movie. But what you need to understand is this, Miller. Alright? They're fucking adaptations. They're fucking interpretations of comic book characters. They're not... I mean, yes, you've worked on them, but you don't fucking own them. Okay? You don't. You don't fucking own these characters. Okay? They are not your interpretations. Your interpretations have influenced how those characters were adapted on screen, but they're not yours. Just and not to mention, he goes about saying, oh, well, that's not how I see the characters. You're right. What we saw in Daredevil, what we saw in Elektra, well, okay, you know, scratch Elektra. What we saw in the Batman movies aren't yours. Aren't how you interpret it, because those are 10 times better than the shit you gave us in comic book form and later on in life. First off, alright, and I'm going to go ahead and read the next part of this. Does that include the Christopher Nolan Batman movies? Miller says, it includes all of them. I'm not condemning what he does. I don't even understand it. Except that he seems to think he owns the title Dark Knight. Ha ha ha. He's about 20 years too late for that. It's been used. Alright, there's more of it. I'll read some more on it. Neither do you! Neither do you! The Dark Knight has become a common alias for Batman. Okay? It was there because using Batman in a title has become tiresome. Using Dark Knight was a nice breath of fresh air. You don't fucking own that. You don't even own Batman. Alright, what he was doing was using a common alias for Batman to make the title of a movie interesting. To grip you in than just saying Batman blah blah blah. Because it's already been done 5 times before. Okay? Anyone can use the title Dark Knight, not just you. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think what else was said. So yeah, he doesn't want to watch any of them because they're not his interpretations. His interpretation of Batman is a violent psychopathic kidnapper who kidnaps young Dick Grayson right after his parents were murdered before his eyes, endangers his life, and then throws him in the Batcave, locks him in there, and leaves him to fend for himself. That is Frank Miller's interpretation of Batman, people. That is his. Honestly, if you want more information on how Frank Miller has fucking disgraced the legend of Batman, I would highly recommend watching Linkara's Atop the Fourth Wall episodes on All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder. They were actually very good, very, very funny. I do highly recommend it. I want to see what else I can get out of this. Nolan's last two Batman movies each grossed more than $1 billion worldwide. Does any of that money make its way to you? Miller responds, no, if money's owed me, I wouldn't put it on him or any other author. To be sitting here whining and mewling and puking about that sort of thing, let other people do that. What the fuck do you think you're doing now? Jesus Christ, Miller. You used to be respectable. You actually used to be considered a god among comic book fans. And now look at you. You're nothing more than a former shell. You're nothing more than a shell of your former self. You're pathetic. Alright? I don't, like I said, I don't normally rant about this sort of thing, but this just irritates me. This really does. Alright? Because he's gone out of control. And the last one here, I am not going to read the whole, there's a link to the full interview. Just go on comicbookmovie.com, look for the article there, and just click on the link below it to read the full article. I'm not going to do that, though. A lot of readers, Dark Knight readers, think you love Batman and hate Superman. Any truth to that? Miller responds, the Dark Knight series is all from Batman's point of view, which is true. But if you look at Dark Knight 2, you'll see a Superman who's much calmer than the one in the first Dark Knight. Batman and Superman are dead opposites. I love Superman. Do I love Batman more? They're not people, they're only lines on paper. Alright, I was going to complain about the Superman thing until I read those last two phrases. We understand they're not real people. We really do. But those two phrases basically summed up your writing. They basically summed up your state of mind in terms of how you view these characters. These characters who have been around longer than you have, Miller. Longer than you. And here you are, just basically shitting on them. Saying that they're lines of paper, on paper. Here's the thing, Miller. No, they're not. Not to us. Not to the people who went out and bought your fucking stories, your fucking comics, and read these. Because they shaped our childhood. They shaped what we could accomplish ourselves. You take these characters who have been around for years, and just completely tear them down and build them up in your own twisted little world where you think, oh, Batman's a raging lunatic. Joker doesn't fucking smile. Wonder Woman is a lesbian feminist who hates men. You don't even know what the fucking definition of feminist is. Go fuck yourself, Miller. You're almost as bad as Alan Moore. You know that? You're almost as bad as Alan Moore. Who is another writer I respect, or respected. I still read his stories. I own the big three that anyone should own. Killing Joke, which is another Batman story. Watchmen, and V for Vendetta. Those three are some of my favorite stories, some of my favorite comic books, some of my favorite graphic novels, because they're so well written, so well done. And yet you got Alan Moore now, who is a who's an angry senile old man. Well, okay, maybe not senile, but he's angry old. He's an angry old man who thinks everything he writes should never be touched by anyone else because his hands are godlike, basically. I mean, now, great, he has every right to be angry with some of the adaptations that have been made, like From Hell and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yes, he has every right to be angry about that. Watchmen is the closest to adaptation that we're ever gonna get. The most faithful adaptation. You refuse to watch it because, oh, well, it's a movie. I wrote it as a comic book. Blah blah blah. I forgot he was actually British, so that British accent just came out of nowhere. He's not to mention he's just as bad as Miller. In terms of how he views women, really. Honestly, I'm kind of glad he stopped writing comic books because I don't know how I would feel about the shit he would have written. Yeah, I've said my 2 cents. Really, yeah, I've said my 2 cents. I'm done. I'll see you guys next time with Sin City: A Dame to Kill For when I can. If not, then I'll get to the next movie, which I can't remember at this moment. I think it's November Man and As Above, So Below. So until then, guys, I'll see you when I move. All right, bye.